across the state of Iowa without power right now?
Yeah, so, and there's that red zone you can see there down in Keokuk County. It's over half the county without power because of a storm that had moved through earlier.
4,000.
So, yeah, I mean, and I think they serve 6,000 customers or something.
6,336 and
so you're talking
4,000
about
without power.
almost the entire county there without power, and now this storm also moving in as well. So definitely a cause for concern there. Garrett, if you want to take over, talk more about the warning here and the additional ones up to the north, so I can update some things online. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think one of the big things too, I think we were kind of mentioning as well, with that tornado warning, with that being as big as it is right now, kind of encompassing nearly 3 counties throughout portions of Keokuk, Iowa, and Washington counties there. I think a big reason that is so large for the time being could very well just be due to the fact that the rotation isn't that evident, or that clear at least. So as they were kind of talking about, a little bit of that rotation could very well be a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, just a bit, of course, which is very likely to be causing some concern, especially with just how quickly these two systems, or this whole line of storms, are going to continue to work their way through our area. Once again, just kind of updating the location that might be the best spot that we are going to see maybe for the development of a tornado, if it were to be occurring within that tornado warning, may very well be right along that Keokuk, Iowa County borderline there, just off towards the west of North English. In the meantime, we're going to continue to monitor that, see if that does continue to change at all, especially out ahead of that leading line, just out behind that with some pretty evident, at least some strong winds, at least embedded within that, as that line continues to bow its way outward. So still, a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings are still well warned for winds. I think we were in excess of about 70 miles per hour down that way. So that's something we're going to continue to watch out for. But beyond just those tornado warnings, we do still have a line of some active tornado warning, or severe thunderstorm warnings, I should say, further off towards our north. It looks like we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for our portions of our area now. That's going to include portions of Floyd, Chickasaw, and now Howard counties. This is going to stay in effect until about 6:45 in the a.m. This is going to be for hail upwards about an inch or so in diameter. Winds not nearly as destructive as, at least further down towards the south. Still upwards about 60 miles per hour. So, of course, that is still going to continue to stay severe warned in the meantime. Of course, we do also have that large severe thunderstorm warning. You can see that basically including portions of Bremer County all the way down to Tama County. Again, this is also for the same general parameters as that one off towards the north. So, hail up to about an inch or so. Winds upwards about 60 miles an hour, as this entire line does continue to track its way off towards the east throughout this morning. Again, this one stays in effect for about another hour or so, so these are going to continue to work their way off towards the east here as we do continue on over the next couple of hours or so. I just want to make sure we have the speeds that they are moving off at about 50 miles an hour there. So they're moving for sure as we do continue on throughout this morning. So as this does kind of get closer towards other portions of kind of the larger metro areas and whatnot, because kind of as Rebecca has been talking about it throughout this morning, is kind of considering what you're going to be doing for that morning commute plan here as these storms continue to work their way off towards the east, because these very likely will be having a bit of an impact as they work their way through our area for now.
The Weather Service was just saying near Watcheer, which is just to the west, I think, of Sigourney. If you want to put the velocity on, we can see kind of what they're looking at, but they're saying
yeah, this is what I'm curious about for the Gibson area, because that's right on that leading edge.
Sorry, well, it is west of Sigourney, just a little northwest. So yeah, so definitely starting to see some tightening rotation, unfortunately. And I will hop on the wall there in just a second because I am making sure we can get everybody some of this information as well. But we do have just some very strong winds regardless with this. The rotation that is ongoing would be just near that Watcheer area. It looks like, I mean, you can see kind of all these little pockets of kind of spin ups that could be happening there. So certainly something that we'll have to watch and see how just how much of how long that sustains itself, but it looks like would be crossing Highway 21 there and heading to the north and east, just northeast of North English and toward the Williamsburg area there. So something we'll certainly watch as well as that moves in. But we do have unfortunately, this potential early in the morning, and we have, only our radar products that we can kind of base this off of. So what we're kind of looking at here is, I can step on the wall too, but we have this rotation here. Is that current? kind of looks like, yeah, this, perhaps some rotation there. You can see some of the, yeah, if we go back to the west, this is earlier. If you want to back it up, actually, because you could see where they were talking about that rotation. But yeah, so there's the storm here. If you go forward a little bit, they issued like this new little tornado warning because you could see little upticks in the brighter colors coming in. So some of the blues as well. And so as that heads to the north and east here, that's where that concern comes in, and that would be heading to the north and east, north of Watch here, and then toward Highway 21, and then if it continues on its path there towards Williamsburg, regardless of if the tornado potential stays. And what's happening with this is that we would see these kind of quick spin ups that would occur, and they may not last for terribly long, but they can certainly do damage. And then we also have in that this entire line here. If you want to throw on the reflectivity, I know you're trying to get all the warnings up there, but we do have this curved segment here, if you want to zoom out a little bit, Garrett. So that is heading towards Sigourney, and unfortunately, the town of Sigourney may already be without power, and this is not going to help matters that we could continue to see this issue of some strong winds. This heads to the north and east, and regardless in this area for the tornado warning, which goes until 6:45, we could have just some of these spots where we do see the trees go down, some tree damage. We've seen this happen before, unfortunately, and some more power outages occur as it heads into Iowa County and western portions of Washington County as well. So we are going to continue to stay with this here, and we'll continue to bring you updates on the tornado threat. And we are just going to have to wait on any more information from the Weather Service or any reports that we maybe get in, but have certainly had multiple reports of 70-mile-per-hour winds. So that is a definite thing there. The tornado threat is one thing we'll have to question, but regardless, we're going to treat this like a tornado situation. So in the basement, in the lowest level of your home, away from the windows as this storm continues. I don't know if they're heading a little more northeasterly.
The whole thing itself is, but I'm assuming just kind of how that Boeing segment's going to continue to track its way straight eastwards with that severe thunderstorm warning at about.
Yeah, you can go ahead and detail those.
45 on that one.
Yeah.
Make sure that is the correct one there.
So that's moving right into Sigourney right now with the strongest winds.
Yeah, so we're looking at least here within the next minute or two here, as well as even further down towards our south near the Ottumwa areas, probably most likely here in the next couple of minutes as well. So then as this continues, of course, to work its way off towards the east, it's fairly likely, at the bare minimum at least, we'll likely be seeing some of those stronger winds working the way closer towards about North English here, probably within the next about 10 minutes or so as this continues to work its way off towards the east and getting into Washington County. You can see that starting to cross near Washington, at least on the closer end of the kind of time the severe thunderstorm warnings are expected to expire here towards about 6:45, closer towards about 7 or so. But at least with that, so that is kind of like the main obvious threat, that there is very clearly a nice Boeing shape here. It's very evident of that cold pooling a little bit in the upper portions of the atmosphere. It's going to be pushing out a lot of those strong winds as we do continue on here over the next couple of minutes. Of course, we've already seen those reports, which I believe we saw that, 71 mile an hour?
There's been some, they've just issued, I've seen multiple reports come in of from, I don't know what all of these sites are. I think Oskaloosa, and I'm not sure what town this is, but multiple 70, 71, 72 mile an hour winds coming out of this storm, and that there's some rotation, I mean, kind of maybe more broad there in that same area near Gibson. That would be kind of the one spot of evidence for me, but otherwise still some of at least the strong winds. So you can see kind of where those bright colors peak. That may be where that rotation is occurring.
Yeah, and I was trying to get a gauge here as to where the kind of the overall track of that area of rotation is. It kind of starts to hook its way off towards the north a little bit there. It's not entirely following the full line of those showers and thunderstorms, or along that line, as that Boeing segment below it really does push this developing cell further off towards the north, which is very likely why National Weather Service in Des Moines, or Quad Cities, I should say, kind of had that more northeasterly extent working its way into portions of Iowa County. So more likely than not, for those of you who are at least in the more central portions of Iowa County or southwestern side of the county, very well should be working your way towards your safe places right now. As this does continue to push its way off towards the northeast, it's very likely could be seeing even more of a northward progression here over the next couple of minutes. Something we'll be keeping a very, very close eye on. So for those of you at least here, kind of see some of these towns here, the Millersburg, Donut Bluff, you guys are probably going to be seeing this here within the next about 10-15 minutes as this whole line continues to work its way into the area here. So do make sure you are kind of getting into your safe spaces, especially as this area of rotation still kind of lingers around. It's not the most evident, which of course is at least a good sign to see, but as these continue to stay right along that leading edge, it's very well could be a bit of an issue as this whole system continues to push its way off towards the east here very, very rapidly in the meantime, which fortunately I think that area of rotation out ahead of that not as evident as well in the meantime, but certainly.
Yeah, no, we do have, the definitely the wind there. And what I want you to do now is, I wouldn't rule out there being these kind of quick little spin ups that have been happening. I've been watching this thing for hours do this out to the west, and there was at one point a confirmed tornado near the Indianola area. And if Garrett, we can zoom out and kind of show the big thing here, because it looks like now they have extended this warning, I believe, for 70-mile-per-hour winds, which would be, I think, the correct way to go into Johnson County, and that's just on the edge of Iowa City. So if we actually, just look how that is going to the north and east there. If you're hearing the sirens go off in Johnson County, it's because of the 70-mile-per-hour winds. And the tornado warning has not been extended to the east, and I'm not sure if they will or not. You can kind of see how this storm out in front is interacting with it and causing it to wrap in. That's likely where we're seeing that rotation happen. And we also then have still this bowing segment. You can just see everything pushing out. That's evidence of some real strong winds still occurring and what's known as cold pooling. And so that cold air leading to this rush of strong winds at the surface. And the sirens are going off because of the 70-mile-per-hour winds. So that is heading toward the Iowa City area. Gary, if you want to stop it, and we'll put some timing on that for Iowa City as well. But can you get me the particulars? You might have to scooch in on that one to see if we can get the warning for Johnson County, the severe warning, because yeah, there we go. So 70-mile-per-hour winds, and that does not surprise me either. So this is heading toward Washington, Riverside, and such. So if we want to zoom out, and then we can show the timing for the Iowa City area as well. But Garrett, if you want to, we can get a fan on the winds toward the Iowa City area, just toward I-80 here shortly, at least. Heavy rain already occurring in Williamsburg. Nope, not that. And going to be heading to the north and east with some 70-mile-per-hour winds. So if you are heading toward the Iowa City area or out and about around the Iowa City area, North English 620, Ollie going to be there shortly down in Keokuk County, Wellman 630, Washington 640. These are rough estimates. So, between these times, you're going to be experiencing these stronger winds. Riverside and the casino around 650, and then Iowa City close to the 7 o'clock hour, and then West Liberty around 7:10. Let's go to the north as well to show these additional storms up this way, but 70-mile-per-hour winds, still tornado threat down to the south. We then have these storms for 60-mile-per-hour winds. So the northern side's been weakening, was kind of expecting this to happen, and the south side continued to strengthen, but we still do have some gusty winds. We've seen 60-mile-per-hour winds able to still cause some tree damage as well, but definitely seeing a weakening on the northern side at least, and that is some good news, but still have some gusty winds and some heavy rain occurring with this. Warning's just been extended out. That's for 60, so that will not sound sirens, but that is now including all of Benton County into a portion of Buchanan and kind of just cutting by the Independence area, and then western Lynn County, and I think that does technically include the Cedar Rapids Metro now. So watching this storm coming out of Tama County and heading to the east, and there was a report of a gust of around 56 miles per hour in Marshalltown, so this is all going to continue to the east here, and we'll have those gusty winds heading towards Cedar Rapids, likely close to 7 a.m. as well, but going through Benton County here shortly from west to east. And just something to keep in mind that even as this line passes through, we still are going to have the rain behind it, some lightning and thunder, and then we could have some issues that we have to see what comes out of this, if there's damage or some big tree limbs that go down and such that may impact the commute. And Netta, if you could do me a favor and check around Sigourney, the schools.
So far, I'm checking for school
Yeah.
closures. Nothing so far posted, nothing on Twitter, nothing on Facebook so far.
Okay.
I'm looking on the back end of our website, haven't seen anything yet, but what I do see is that so far, we're close to 5,000 customers out of 6,300 in Keokuk without any power. And
Okay.
we're also,
Yeah,
let me just
so
get
I mean,
a quick look at this.
unfortunately, you know, that situation down to the south, some very strong winds. That's going to be rough down in Keokuk County. If you check some of the emergency managers and some of the schools there, and we'll have to see if they're making adjustments. I wouldn't be surprised if things change a lot in Keokuk County today, unfortunately, because of the situation. If the schools don't have power, that may be a problem. But we will get you that information, of course. But heading to the east here into North English, of course, with that strong wind shortly. I mean, minutes away from North English. Williamsburg 620, Vinton 630, Atkins 630, Cedar Rapids going to be around 640, 645. I think we're a little bit ahead of that line. So 6:50, 7 o'clock, close to the Cedar Rapids area, just because some of this is back to the west here. But we have then Solon, Lisbon around 6:50 to 7 a.m. as well. And anything, Garrett, from the National Weather Service that has come in recently?
I have not, but one thing when I was looking at kind of back down to that tornado threat, possibly more evidence, at least maybe starting to spin up a little bit more once again out ahead of that leading edge here on this very, very, at least outward extent of along Keokuk County. You could probably plot our velocity products. Of course, a lot of this is all outbound winds, so this is what likely is going to be causing any of that kind of more wind-driven, or if not, the potential for a very brief spin-up. I can't remember where we had that at least. Most likely than not, at least as far as what we'd be looking at, that's going to be on the very south side. If that does have any potential rotation, once again, still kind of a weak signature right along
Just
the
North
Keokuk,
English,
Iowa,
yeah.
just off towards the west there of North English, as well as this real leading edge. This product's not showing it the cleanest. But there is at least just evidence of just a little bit of a rotation here, just in the upper portions of the atmosphere here north of Ollie. That's kind of been here and there. A lot of this is kind of not the most evident, but it is as far as kind of where we're kind of trying to piece out some of these areas of rotation. More likely than not, again, it's going to be right along that leading edge as this whole thing does continue to track its way off towards the east over the next couple of minutes. I'm going to switch this back over to the Des Moines radar if we can get a better picture out of that, which is, again, kind of, right along where we were kind of trying to point out there. So we can try to zoom in without losing it too much. Again, just north of Ollie, right along that leading edge. If we were to see anything right now, it's, again, not the most cleanest, and it's not the most evident, which, of course, as this whole thing continues to push outwards with a lot of these winds along this Boeing segment, that's somewhere we're going to have to keep a very close eye on, of course, as these outward winds can, from time to time, cause those brief spin-ups and whatnot. So again, a lot of that stays right along that leading edge for the time being, especially as this whole thing continues to push its way off towards the east. Again, that's a big reason, too, more likely than not, that we saw that severe thunderstorm warning get extended and not necessarily the tornado warning itself, as this does continue to continue to track its way off towards the east.
They are keeping it for now. This does go until 6:45, and regardless, we do have the very intense winds going on there as well. And we are going to continue to see that kind of barrel to the east, and we'll have to see, you can see that kind of eastward movement to that straight line winds, as you were mentioning, and that would be very close to the Iowa City area, just as everything is kind of moving to the northeast, but that part in particular is moving to the directly east. Trying to see, it looks like the Weather Service is going to give us a little more information here in a second. I've been looking around to see if there's any information about schools and such, but I mean, some significant power outages going on around portions of Keokuk County, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they're having to assess things and figure out how things are going to go today. And then we do have just a lot of damage that is coming in from areas to our west, and Marion County, which is 2 counties to the west of Keokuk County here. There was a report that came in they were saying reports of storm damage of shingles, roof damage west of Pleasantville. And in the town of Perishing, there was a tree branch through an air conditioner in a home, and so unfortunately, continuing to see that threat for some damage. And this is regardless of if it's tornadic or if it's just the wind, because the wind can be just as much of an issue sometimes when we have these storms, and we've seen a lot of this happening. So we do have right now this tornado warning that continues, and this is let's see. Widespread 70 to 85 mile per hour winds. Oh boy, did they upgrade this warning at all? They did not yet. Circulation on the north end.
Yep.
1 or 2 possibly developing in that area, and we were just talking about that. Severe winds, significant in pockets, least embedded tornado threat eastward toward Johnson and Washington counties. So that is, definitely the reason there for these warnings, and they may just persist with that tornado warning just as the potential for those spin-ups to occur. And then we're talking, 85 mile an hour winds. That is incredibly significant. So we do have the warning that then extends to the east here into Washington. So up next, unfortunately, Keota, North English, Parnell, near and south of Williamsburg, likely with the strongest winds, but still could get some 60 gusts around Williamsburg and maybe up to 70 just based on the movement. I'm not going to rule anything out, but you're in the warning. Oxford, as well as North Liberty. This is just the west of Iowa City, but going to be approaching there as well. Windham, Amish, Sharon Center, Hills, Kelowna, Richmond, Riverside, Lexington, and Westchester, Washington as well. And then we have Richland, Brighton, and Talleyrand, Westchester, Grace Hill, Rubio, Lexington. I think I mentioned some of these already, but this is barreling to the east with some incredibly strong winds. And then we have the issue of the tornado threat as well. So if you're in these areas, this is time to just stay inside. I understand that you may have to go to work, and it's not worth risking your life on the roads, especially with these strong winds and the possibility that a tornado could spin up as well. The best place to be is going to be in the central part of your home, lowest level, whether that be the basement, the laundry room, the bathroom, whatever it is. And the other thing is that you have to be prepared for the power to go out. So we are streaming online. You can see the links to that at iowasnewsnow.com. You just click watch, you'll see us. We're here if you need to watch it on your phone, but we have some significant power outages that have already occurred in Keokuk County, and then to the east, this is then persisting into portions of Iowa and Washington counties, and this is going to be getting very close to or south of I-80, and these are the locations that in this box, in this orange box in the south here, that could be experiencing those very significant winds, quarter-size hail as well. And then we do have the 70 mile per hour winds marker on there, but signs that there could be some even stronger winds as well. We actually do have, I wonder if we can pull up the Fairfield camera, because that's where the storm is getting close to. Their weather service is monitoring some of the circulation, I'd imagine, just on that northern side. Yep. Right around Millersburg, heading toward Parnell. So we have the one issue of the significant winds, and then we have the other issue of a tornado that could be spinning up here. And you see this, this is that interaction on the northern side of the storm as it's interacting with the storm that's been out ahead of it. If we can get the wall keyed on, that would be awesome. We do have right now the circulation. You can see these bright greens and the brighter reds kind of meeting. It's a little bit broad. So what that means is that it's not super clear evidence of a tornado, but there's definitely some rotation going on there that could signify a tornado. That would be heading to the east somewhere between Parnell and Williamsburg right now, and we can hope that that isn't a tornado on the ground and heading towards a town there, but we do have some significant winds and the tornado potential heading into southern portions of Iowa County here, and rotation evident around Millersburg right now. That just jumped to the north and east a little bit, so kind of more on the Williamsburg side, unfortunately, and then to the north of Parnell would be where that rotation would be. And Thomas, you can also poke around back in the booth there on some of the cameras, maybe around I-80 as well, because I know a couple more start popping up in that zone, and so that's where we would have maybe some sights on some of the storms here as it's starting to move in, but close to the Williamsburg area is where a lot of that is happening right now. So we do have the winds that are going to be picking up here shortly across the area. If you're hearing sirens or you've heard the sirens, that is because we do have the potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. Then to the north, there is this warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds heading into Benton County, and around Waterloo going to be there shortly as well. This line of storms has been just barreling across the state this morning and went through central Iowa, and now it's here. We unfortunately know this story too well, that we have seen these strong storms recently, and this is going to be something we'll have to, we're going to continue to watch and see how it evolves to the east. The strongest part of this line continues to be south of Highway 30 at the moment. South of 20, we still do have those very strong winds up to 60 miles per hour, and then the strongest part of it further down to the south. It looks like let's see, Keokuk County has 78% of the county without power, unfortunately. And we have Washington County, about 1,000 customers without power. And then these counties to the west have also been having some power outages. Looks like some power out around Butler and Grundy. And we know that we just had to repair some of the power outages from the storms that came through on Tuesday. And was that Tuesday?
Yeah.
My gosh. And now we have this issue as well here. So let's see if we're getting any more information. Branches down, and trash cans blown down near Pella High School, and that's just to the west of here, where earlier there was a tornado warning as well. So that we're seeing damage, we're seeing the power outages. Thomas, what did you say you had pulled up there? The power outages, yeah, there you go. So you can see that bright red. And if Netta, you have some time as well, if you want to pop just an article up about the power outages going on, that would be very helpful to let people know what's going on, because this is, clear evidence of what is happening now with these storms. But we will continue to have to see if any information comes in on what schools may have to do today in these areas as well. But we have storms that are going to come through the area and have been producing some significant power outages along that kind of I-80 and points to the south. You can see the outages that extend back to the west as well. So this has been an issue that has been going on through the night and into this morning. We have, let's see if I can find some things around Keokuk County, but I was trying to look around the sheriff's office and such, but or around Sigourney. I don't know if still no schools have made any decisions.
While you're looking at that, do you want to point out, if we're going to go back to the radar real quick?
Yeah, we can put the radar back
point
up.
Of interest here that we could be keeping a close eye on.
Is it south and North English there?
Near Keota now.
North of...
As there's this kind of this little outgoing little blip that not the most promising, which of course good to see. However, it is still something. At least looking at the past few scans, there's been just a little bit of an
uptick in the rotation.
A little bit of a poof of air going outwards out ahead of that. So that course is then could very well cause that very brief little spin up there. So that's kind of, and it's literally just a couple of pixels. So it's not, again, the cleanest picture, of course.
But that's kind of the issue of with these storms is that potential that we could get these kind of quick spin ups to happen still, and that's why this warning is continuing. So definitely the rotation here. There's rotation here. There's then some rotation around that Keota area. there's then just continuation of the strong winds that's going to be heading toward the Wellman area. So yeah, you can kind of see that rotation occurring there, and there may be some more of that interaction with this little storm kind of right out ahead of it as well. Thomas, you have any pictures? Continue to. You can pull up any of the cameras or anything, because we do have certainly some, strong winds coming through, and we're starting to see some, this get close to I-80 here in Williamsburg. Yeah, there's a rotation that would be very close to the Williamsburg area. So here's I-80. Why do people do this? Do not, just don't leave your house at this point. And there's somebody under the overpass. I mean, this is the worst place to be. Warning got extended. Let's go back to the radar full, because this is now including Iowa City. If we could just be back on max full here. Thank you. Iowa City included in this warning now. So new warning for Johnson County into Washington County. And this is because of that tornado threat that is ongoing here. So we do have these storms going through and going to continue to produce the potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. They're saying 1.5 inch hail size, ping pong size hail, and also the 70-mile-per-hour wind threat. So regardless of the tornado threat, we're treating all of it like a tornado threat. 70-mile-per-hour winds doing damage, knocking out power to most of Keokuk County, if not all the county, almost without power at this point. And this is continuing to the north and east with the tornado potential and that potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So there's no reason to leave the house. I understand if there's work, I understand if there's those obligations, but it is just not necessary. We have 70-mile-per-hour winds, potentially over that, rotation on the north side of the storm. That is what's leading to them issuing this into Johnson County. And then we also do have the issue of these other spots where rotation could pick up, plus that 70-mile-per-hour winds. We're here till 7:15. We are going to continue to watch that threat, of course, but also just detailing where you can expect these winds. You can see maybe a little bit of a spin up happening southeast of North English, and then that northern side, Williamsburg, probably the most evident, where there has been some rotation. I'll say I just got an email from my kids' school. Linmar is saying they're watching the weather and saying that the buses might be redirected, and just to make a decision on what you need to do with the kids this morning. I know if there's before school care and stuff like that may be happening earlier. A lot of, schools going into session between 7:30 to 8 a.m. This is going to be interrupting the morning drive, and we were anticipating that. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's to the north. We have these other ones ongoing to the north as well. This is more so for 60-mile-per-hour winds, but sirens going off in Washington, Johnson County because of that tornado warning. We also do have this one that extended into Decorah, West Union for 60-mile-per-hour winds, some quarter-size hail. I was just looking at the Weather Service. I mean, same things that we've been saying, and the issue for them issuing this warning, and just the potential for some very dangerous, strong winds, as well as that tornado threat that could produce some more localized damage as well. I wouldn't be surprised we're seeing some notices from even the metro schools here with Cedar Rapids and anything like that. Thomas, you did say you had a camera that we could pull up as well, so go ahead. So this is right around Williamsburg here. So storm is getting mighty close to Williamsburg, and that's very close to where that rotation would be at this point. You can see dark clouds off in the distance. Hard to make out anything necessarily in that area, and the rotation's certainly kind of muddied, but very close to Williamsburg, Parnell. You need to be in your safe space. You need to be in the lowest level of your home. You need to be staying away from the windows and not leaving your house. These storms are moving through fast. They will move out, and we will be able to move about our day. Some people, unfortunately, going to be dealing with power outages and such, but we are going to be able to, if you have to leave the house, let's just wait for the storm to pass through. Garrett, do you have anything you wanted to assess there?
Just pointing out where that camera was looking. So
yes,
just kind of sitting right about there, looking off towards the east. So that's with that system. That was basically kind of what you were looking at. That would be off towards the right-hand side as that whole system kind of continues to work its way off in that direction. So that's kind of what I was just pointing out there, just kind of getting a point of reference as to where that camera was at in relation to this overall little area of rotation we've been kind of watching for, so we can kind of go and put our little velocity scope back on there, kind of get an idea of where this is at. Again, for the most part, right along just south of course, Interstate 80 near Williamsburg, kind of as we were mentioning as well, as that kind of does continue to pass its way through the area. This has been, of course, been what we've been watching for as this whole Boeing segment continues to jet its way outwards a little bit more and more, as well as other potential spots out ahead of that as the outgoing winds do continue to kind of interact with the environment out ahead of that. Overall, I do think maybe a few more of those areas of rotation elsewhere, not as promising. Of course, that's always great to see. I know I have home in here highlighted. Not the most promising there, so that
You can
was
see definitely,
okay,
like,
but
just north of Wellman, there's, like, kind of around the Wellman area, there's these little kind of upticks in the rotation. We do have the just issue of the wind too, that's going to be the main thing. There's even up to the north around Grundy County, tree damage up there, and that's where we're talking the 60-mile-per-hour wind. So this entire line is dangerous. We do have some pictures coming in from Madison County that was just to the west and central Iowa of this storm that also is showing some tree damage as well. I'm going to try and get those pictures up to you here as quickly as possible, but we have just a number of storms going on that have been producing some significant damage. 79% of Keokuk County is without power, and we continue to have the threat for strong winds and, of course, the maybe potential for hail. Apparently, the hail tracker is not showing much.
it takes a second to load
It's trying to kick in there.
Yep,
We had some reports earlier of some golf ball size hail, so I mean, the potential certainly exists.
Yeah, and again, kind of looking at where that would be more likely than not at. I mean, especially as these become a lot more of a wind-driven event, that hail potential is likely to diminish a little bit. So you can kind of see, if you're piecing it all together, that hail track is way back on the backside of this edge. So it's not likely we are seeing an overall hail issue at this very moment, especially out ahead of this leading edge, with this Boeing segment continuing to push its way outwards.
Now they're saying confirmed.
Confirmed, okay.
It's confirmed tornado.
Where
so
at?
this, let's see. I
Outside
wonder
of
if
Wellman?
I wonder
Yep,
if
that was that
they're
area we were
doing
looking
that.
at.
Let's see. Tornado outside of Wellman currently. Tornado on the ground was reported
Yep, that was
at
that area we were looking at.
6:28. So that was near Wellman. No longer on the ground, and it was no longer on the ground, and then they're saying tornado outside of Wellman currently. So there was one on the ground, and now the potential is that we do have the tornado. That was that spot right there around Wellman that we were talking about. So that is probably the clearest to look at potentially a tornado ongoing right now. Hopefully not hitting anything, but very close to a town. Amish, Windham, Iowa City, Newport, Solon would be in the path of this, unfortunately. So we do have now confirmation that tornadoes have been occurring, and this means don't leave your home. There's no reason. This is going to be heading into more populated areas, regardless of if the tornado stays on the ground or not. 70+ mile-per-hour winds are doing damage across the area right now. And this has been happening across the board. We have confirmed tornadoes that have happened, and this is now moving toward Johnson County and has been confirmed to the north and east into Johnson County now, right on the line between Washington, Iowa, and Johnson counties here, moving to the north and east. Outside of that, 70+ mile-per-hour winds. This is going to be moving toward Highway 218, I-80, just not necessary to be out on the roads right now, and I'm sure the schools are figuring it out, knowing that they're going to have to hang on and figure things out at the moment as this continues to move to the north and east. So embedded rotation here around Williamsburg and Wellman, heading to the north and east, plus 70+ mile-an-hour winds. Riverside around 6:45, next couple of minutes here. Washington, close to 7 a.m. as well as Iowa City, and then West Liberty after 7 a.m. and then heading into Muscatine County. Tornado threat is over for Keokuk County, so that they have been removed, or they're going to be removed from the warning here. They have that bigger polygon. I think they're going to trim this back here, but we do have the issue of incredibly heavy rain, plus this tornado embedded, plus the 70-mile-per-hour wind threat going on here. And if, I don't know if you guys have a camera you want to show, feel free, pop them up. This is I-80 at M Avenue. Is this in Washington and Keokuk?
You said I-80 at M.
This is around Williamsburg. The storm is right on top of Williamsburg. The camera's rocking. The semis are stopped on the side of the road. You can see people maybe trying to exit there. And the rotation is evident around Williamsburg, but also some very strong winds near and just south of Williamsburg going across I-80 at this time. And then we have the issue of the other storm, other point of rotation, still evident, Garrett, just north of Wellman and northwest of Kelowna. And you can see that inflow notch happening right here where winds are going into the storm. Right there, some rotation occurring, and we have now had confirmation of a tornado from the National Weather Service at least twice now. So they said that tornado was outside of Wellman and confirmed that there was a tornado on the ground in rural Washington County. And so we do have this potential right here. And regardless, as I said, there's a new scan. Some very strong winds going on here as this is moving now into Johnson County right now. And we have a tornado warning, and then they just extended that other warning to the east. I'm going to guess that's for 70-mile-an-hour winds, if not stronger.
Does look like that would be the case there. It does continue to track its way off that way. Try to get some more information on that, guys. We can zoom out.
70-mile-an-hour winds, tornado possible with that warning. And that's some really advanced warning here. So we've been talking about Johnson County and Iowa City for quite some time. We do have we have had reports of tornadoes. So this is a confirmed situation here that we do have this tornado threat that is ongoing, and we also have the 70-mile-an-hour winds that is continuing now to the east. I'm trying to see if I can get some images up of these storms. You can at least see the storm coming into Cedar Rapids on our camera. Man, Garrett, that signature right by northwest of Kelowna. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's any evidence on any of our other radar products necessarily. The correlation coefficient's been kind of lagging for me for some reason this morning.
One thing I was pulling up here a little bit ago is there was and it's not the most evident, but vaguely in this area, if anything, it's...
Yeah, it's hard to say. So
kind of see that a little bit.
Oh. Maybe.
Yeah, so that could very well at least be some
that was
form of
probably the
debris.
tornado that happened, and hopefully, didn't hit anything significant. But this is a product that is known as correlation coefficient, so it is able to pick up things that are not rain, and so this allows us to see debris. And this, if you watch some of the coverage on Tuesday, there was a lot of evidence of debris with some of the very powerful storms. Unfortunately, it went through Greenfield, and we do have now this little drop that happened, and so there was a little bit of blue that then has moved to the north and east, and we have evidence there that was a tornado on the ground and not as strong of a signal if you stop it right there. Yeah. So they were saying around Wellman. So that would be, confirmation. And that's probably just about what they had. And we were talking about that simultaneously, that rotation now heading to the north and east, that would be approaching Highway 1. And if we go back to the velocity product just to see what that is looking like, you can still see the inflow here, still saying confirmed tornado. We have then the rotation just getting to, this has kind of been tracking further north here. So yeah. Iowa City in the crosshairs of this. If you are in Iowa City, we're talking about a highly populated area, I-380 and the I-80 interchange, Highway 1. There's no reason to leave right now. There are significant storms that are either producing a tornado or 70-mile-per-hour winds, and there is no reason to leave. We are going to continue to have these strong winds. That strong wind signal has not died down either. Down to the south, you can see, Gary, if you zoom out a little bit here too, the still kind of curve to the storms, very evident that we still have some very powerful winds. Yeah, there we go. We have to look at different radar products when we're looking at wind versus the rotation. But you can see the very strong winds likely occurring in this area that's going to head to the north and east as well. So through Washington, through Riverside, through areas like Hills, Lone Tree, into Iowa City, Solon, North Liberty, Coralville, Tipton, into Cedar County. No reason to be leaving right now. And you can see people that are being stuck on the roads as a result of this. And you can still see on this product, this is not necessarily, you can still see the rotation at least. And you can see things kind of getting wrapped up there. So we do have still reports coming in of a lot of damage that's been happening out to our west around Pella, and that is where these storms stem from as well. Still that rotation getting very close to Highway 1. Garrett, if you zoom, let's just go street level here on this, and zoom in a little further for me because this is getting very close to the Iowa City area. So we have some more towns that are going to be populated in here. So Sharon Center and Windham, somewhere near or to or right in between. And then to the north here, if we just keep on going a little bit, and that would be just really close to Iowa City.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Tiffin as well.
Yeah, it does kind of look like it's continuing to track right along that way.
It's been heading a little more kind of north. Still very populated. I mean, not what we want to see, and not at a busy time of the day either. So let's see here. We still have some of these warnings off to the east. If you guys want to pull up the Cedar Rapids Skycam, it probably still looks like it back in the booth, but we do have the storm approaching there. There's our storm that's coming into Cedar Rapids. So have a shelf cloud that's coming in with some strong winds. Let me see what we have a tornado possible tag on that storm as well, up near Cedar Rapids. So we have that going on here too. And let's see, definitely some gusty winds and some hail probably happening with the storm. It's going to be in Cedar Rapids here just momentarily, moving into Center Point and moving into Palo and Shellsburg. And here's I-380 and H Avenue. I mean, it's not raining yet, but look how many people are on the roads. And this is going to continue to come through right now. So we have a continuation of some very, very strong winds that are going to be moving to the east and across the area, and we have some heavy rain that's going to be coming in. Now, this is moving pretty quickly, so it's going to come through Cedar Rapids, but there's no reason to leave right now. It's about to cross I-380. They got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Cedar and Delaware counties here, and this is still tornado possible, and for 60-mile-per-hour winds, so that's continuing that warning. So that's extending through Cedar Rapids, Anamosa, Monticello, Manchester, Independence, and Cedar Jones counties are going to be. I mean, we're getting to I-380 here. So I know that Linmar told me, they emailed out and said, we're watching the weather, we get it, we might have to pull the buses. I don't know, Netta, you seen anything from any of the school districts? But I mean, I just wouldn't be surprised if they're if they're saying anything. I think more so kind of the problem of the people down to the south, because this is going to move through. Tornado on the ground north of Kelowna and Johnson County. All right, Garrett. Probably right here, I'd imagine. Let's go to the velocity. So we have tornado confirmed on the ground. If we zoom in here, this is the exact area we've been talking about. And is it Kelowna? I don't know where, is it up to the north too, or they're saying Kelowna?
Really?
Oh, there's Kelowna. Okay. I mean, they're saying north of Kelowna.
I mean, that is north of Kelowna.
Okay. That makes, I was like, Kelowna. Yeah. Okay. So this is probably where the tornado is happening, I would imagine. And so they're saying that there's a confirmed tornado on the ground north of Kelowna in Johnson County. So watching this, I mean, we were just talking about this Highway 1 area. This would be heading right into here. Garrett, can you put a fan on that one and see if there's some towns we can get in the path of this storm as well? We have Tiffin, I know, Coralville, very close by. Iowa City, I mean, this is skirting the line between Iowa City, the Coral Ridge Mall around 7 o'clock and 7 in North Liberty. Unfortunately, our Coralville camera is not functioning at the moment, or else we would be getting a look at the storm. But we do have several DOT cameras down this way, and Thomas, maybe Highway 1 or 218 coming out of Johnson County here. But tornado continues to be confirmed. It's before 7 o'clock in the morning. And we have multiple reports now that we've had tornadoes on the ground, and we have seen some signs on the radar that they have done some damage, unfortunately. So we have, I don't know if you could, I can come over there too and pop the correlation coefficient on to see if anything is showing up there, because it looks like some tightening rotation. Hard to say.
Yeah, and I think that's out ahead of leading edge, so that's what we're seeing up here is a false return, so I wouldn't that's not the most cleanest on that, which of course you don't want to see the debris being lofted at all.
Yeah, there were definitely some, some concerns, some definitely earlier that we could see the correlation coefficient showing some debris, and we could see that there's something definitely happened there. All right, you guys can take that camera full and just show us what's going on. I-80 and Y Avenue. I mean, look at the wind, and it is rocking out there. Here's a clear reason to not leave the house. There's no reason to leave the house, and just no reason at all. And we have we have a confirmed tornado in Johnson County, and we have the tornado heading close to a populated area as well. And then on top of that, these 70-mile-per-hour winds moving in. So there's just no reason, and people are stopped on the side of the road. So let's go back to the radar here, and this is getting very close to Iowa City Metro. There's maybe, I mean, there's a little more evident back there. There's still some, there's still some rotation certainly going on, but there was a confirmation earlier, and getting very close to the Iowa City Metro area. We're just trying to get everything updated.
It's gonna look messy real quick.
But we have had the, not only the tornado reports, but also, regardless of if it's a tornado or not, we're talking about also winds of 70 miles per hour.
So just looking at a couple things there.
Yeah, Garrett's looking at a couple radar products so definitely some wrapping in here. Can we look at the northern side of the storm too? Because I don't want to forget this area as well, where we had been seeing it earlier.
Evident, fortunately, the one that was been north of Williamsburg over the past few minutes, it certainly has gotten overtaken.
So that's kind of loosened up a bit.
Rebecca, we are getting. I just got a notification that Iowa City schools will have a 2-hour delay.
Okay, so Iowa City schools delaying. That's not surprising. If you want to pass that along to Kristen as well.
Yeah.
Anything that you see in that respect, that would be great. So, I mean, not surprising. So we don't need to leave, right? We need to stay in our safe place. We need to be in the basement, away from the windows. There's no reason to be on the roads. We're seeing people just stopping on the side of the road. I wouldn't want to be in my car in that. And this is heading right to I-80 right now. You have some very strong winds and the possibility of a tornado. Is anything wrapping up down there by Riverside too? I mean, it looks like those little something, but
yeah, it could very well be something as well, as that does start to kind of bow its way outwards. I mean, all of these are going to be really on this entire northern.
And that's why they have this whole thing warned here. Yep. So you can see the notch going in toward Iowa City, the notch around Riverside. So 70-mile-an-hour winds, plus maybe a tornado, and neither one of those things are good. So we don't need to be out on the streets. Let's move it to the north too, because this is coming into Cedar Rapids, and we have some strong winds here, and going to be getting into the Cedar Rapids metro here, momentarily. And yeah, still some evidence of strong winds. They have a 60-mile-per-hour warning on this one, and that goes to the east, and this whole line could have some hail and some heavy rain as well. And we have some just reports continuing of damage that has happened out to the west, even with 60-mile-an-hour winds. And then we have, go ahead and you guys can throw the camera up too. This is Cedar Rapids, so I-380 Diagonal Drive. We're starting to get the rain moving in. This is just the beginning. It's going to get heavier and the wind's going to pick up, and there's so many people on the roads. Just don't stop under the overpass, please. We do have,
Especially with this, yeah.
Yeah, it just creates a wind tunnel. And there's no reason, and you're just going to cause more problems. We have some very strong winds that have been evident with this whole system. I've been watching it coming out of Nebraska like last night. Woke up around midnight, saw it at 2 a.m. Tornado warnings all along at these little notches of these storms coming in. So we continue to have these the potential to have a tornado. Right there. I mean, that's just west of Iowa City. Can we go back in on
Absolutely.
on the velocity there too?
Yeah, now we're getting to be, and another possible point too, just north of that near
Oxford.
That's not confirmed or anything like that, but
No, but
another
there's
point
definitely
of
some
interest.
rotation. So
And a bit of an uptick in those inbound
I would just say
winds
just
right here as well.
just south of Tiffin. Tiffin's right here. So this would be going right toward the Tiffin area, North Liberty, and we have Coralville in between here and Iowa City. I mean, anywhere in the Iowa City metro, anywhere Johnson County, anywhere Washington County, anywhere Cedar County, also Lynn County. I mean, just strong winds, tornado threat elevated right now. And this was something we were watching. This is a difficult forecast situation because when you have a line of storms moving across, there's so many little factors in the middle of the night if a storm system's going to last its way to the east. And unfortunately, we saw it happen. And this is not something we want to see on a day where people are going to work, going to school. I think Cedar Rapids schools might be out of session already, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure about that. But if not, they may be having some delays too. I know Linmar's still in session. They're monitoring things as that's coming across. Iowa City, 2-hour delay. Wouldn't be surprised if some more Johnson County schools. We're seeing issues in Keokuk County. We have most of the county, Keokuk County, without power. I don't know if there's been any updates in that respect. You guys can pull up the, 5,000
Yep.
200 without power
in Keokuk. What about other counties?
Washington County, there's about 1,200 without power
So that's
now.
gone up a little bit. Rotation around Riverside to Lone Tree. Rotation west of Iowa City near Tiffin. Rotation up by Oxford. Multiple locations where we could have tornadoes, but also the 70-mile-per-hour winds. So it does not matter if it's tornado, if it's wind. This is a problem. This is causing damage. This is causing power outages. It's been doing so across the state of Iowa. Do we have the power outage map that we could pull up as well? I know you have a camera up there. There's I-80 at Black Hawk Avenue around the Iowa City area. So getting very dark, camera shaking, lightning going on there. Yeah, Thomas, you want to go ahead and pull up the power outages? You guys can come back to Max so he can do that. But we have definitely a little uptick in the rotation going on west of Iowa City and west of North Liberty. This all heading to the north and east, Riverside as well. There's the power outages. So, I mean, you can take that full because I won't be able to read it. But so going from Marion County to then the one next to it, Mahaska, Keokuk, most of Keokuk County without power at the moment, and then Washington County. And then go north there, not too far north, but yeah, Butler County's been having issues too, as well as Grundy. And then we have Benton, Lynn. I mean, we're seeing Tama. Tama and Benton. So a couple hundred customers without power in Tama County, and then to the east of there is Benton County, where the storm just moved through. That's heading through Lynn County as well. Then down to the south, that would be Iowa County, so around 900 customers without power there, and the storm's still moving through this area, and there's a 55,000 without power across the state of Iowa at the moment. My gosh. Let's go back to the radar. Garrett,
Yep.
This
It's starting to pick up again near Oxford, so there could very well be two areas of rotation. I've been watching this area around just off towards the west of Lone Tree.